Alright, I am YW8, and this is my submission of Kingdom Hearts 3 Beginner 90% for SGDQ 2019. We are submitting a relay race between two teams of 3. And the timing for Kingdom Hearts 3 actually starts on confirming the brightness, just because that's the last input before you physically start the game. And we actually use in-game time for this speedrun, just because it doesn't count load times and it eliminates a lot of different things with hardware and people having to buy different consoles and stuff like that. And it evens the playing field for the most part, but it evens the playing field for people without them having to spend loads of money just to be able to even compete whatsoever, because there's a very big loading difference between the base PlayStation 4 and the PS4 Pro, and then you add SSD to that, and there's a whole bunch of different loading time things. So we went with IGT just to eliminate that. So the game starts you off right here. This is Dive to the Heart. There's a Dive to the Heart in Cage 1 and Cage 2. It's kind of standard for Kingdom Hearts games at this point. And it's just a basic little tutorial where you pick your options that dictate like abilities and whatnot. So this is just teaching you how to walk and use situation commands, but they're basically the same thing as reaction commands from Cage 2. And me and many other people refer to them as reaction commands 90% of the time, just because that's what we're used to. But yeah, situation command and reaction command are basically the same thing. And there's a whole bunch going on here, but it doesn't really matter. So now it's presenting you with 3 different options to choose from. And this will decide whether you start with more MP, more HP, or a balance of the two. And I'm going to be picking the left option to give me more MP, because magic is very powerful in this game, and we want to be able to use as much of it as possible. And unfortunately, all of this right now is unskippable, but as soon as we get out of this little tutorial, we can skip basically everything, so it's not a big deal. And now we get to choose a second option, and this determines what order we get abilities in. I'm going to be choosing the path on the right, because this gives me more magic-related abilities. It gives me quite a few good abilities like early on, one of which is Magic Combo Thrift, which you get at level 2, and it makes it so that when you use magic in succession, it costs 1 less MP each time, which is a pretty broken ability, especially getting it at level 2. You're going to also notice that I'm dodge rolling. Dodge rolling is actually slightly faster than walking. And there's some other movement tech that I'll get into later. Okay, now we've chosen both of our options, and it's just going to ask us to confirm that, and then we're going to move on from this little section. And there's another unskippable cutscene. The first fight coming up here is just 3 shadows, and we take them out pretty quickly. And then after that, we get to fight a dark side. And then after we do those 2 fights, we're out of the tutorial, and it throws us right into our first world, which is going to be Olympus. And you notice that I wasn't finishing combos there. It's because finishers are kind of slow. Especially because the shadows die in 2 hits. Alright, here I locked onto his head at the start. Because I find comboing his head easier. And this part, you just kind of get hit a lot. You just kind of keep mashing through it. And hope that you don't get hit. The only time you want to get hit is when you're in the middle of a finisher, because it'll knock you out of the long animation, but you'll still get some of the damage off. Okay. And you can also knock those orbs into them, but I missed that. And then after that, you just choose the bottom option to get out of the tutorial. Okay, and now the game is going to throw us into our first world, which is Olympus. After a few load screens, of course. So I didn't explain this before, but this is an Instagram load. And luckily, these don't count towards the in-game time, which is another reason why the in-game time is what we use. And then yeah, these are just little things that the devs thought would be cool to add and make it like kind of fun. Some of them are kind of cringe, but some of them are pretty cool. Not like, yeah, pretty cool, I guess. Okay, so here I'm gonna use water, and I'm gonna target the large body at first, the fat body, because I want to take him out because he has the most health. Okay, now that we got rid of him, we just gotta focus on the other ones. I want to get rid of my MP, so I have full MP for the next fight after this, and I don't have to hit a save point to restore my MP. Okay. And there I got level 2, which gives me magic combo thrift. And then, of course, there's still going to be little screens of tutorials, because this world is basically a tutorial. Now I'm going to take off damage control, put on magic combo thrift, and then I'm going to do customize water and customize fire. So there's 2 forms of movement that we have right now, which are dodge rolling and air sliding. Air sliding is faster if you can do it up a slope, because it's possible to do them in succession with precise inputs. You can do them in succession without having to hit the ground and jump again. But you can't do that everywhere, so dodge rolling is going to be faster for the time being, until later on when we get more air slides, which extend the distance of it, which make it faster than dodge rolling. Alright, now we're going to be introduced to flame cores. Flame cores are weak to water, which you will see. They die in 2 waters if you hit them correctly, because water actually has certain properties. It has the projectile, and it also has the force field that comes around you. Not really a force field, but yeah. I was not expecting Herc to do that, but that's good. So yeah, they can die in 2 waters if you hit them with part of the water. That was a pretty good fight. And yeah, basically we use a lot of magic in this run. That's kind of how it goes. And I want to hit this save point to restore my MP. And then this is another flame core fight. We're going to be doing basically the same thing. Another property of water is that it gives you iframes as you cast it. So if you time it right, you won't get hit by certain things, but some things will still hit you if they have a long enough hitbox. And then sometimes I do a combo after a single water hitting the flame core, just because I want to conserve MP. Because if you do too much waters, you'll run out of MP, and then you won't have anything to deal with the flame cores. Because they can DM and they're just unhittable unless they're hit with magic. They are not immune to magic during their DMs. I'm gonna pick up this chest because it's an ether. I'll actually do some movement tech with flow motion here. So if you swing out of flow motion, it actually cancels the flow motion, and you can get out of it faster and do like an air slide or a dodge roll way quicker than if you wait for the flow motion to actually disappear. Okay, so here I'm gonna hit the save point, but I don't want my MP to be fully restored because I need to be out of MP after this fight so that I can have it fully restored for the fight after. And I'm still going to end up with a good amount of MP here because Zod and Goofy did a lot more work than they usually do. And I'm going to take a little detour right here because I actually want to break this statue. It takes 4 hits to break it. You can break it with magic. And we use magic on it just because we're trying to get rid of our MP. So I'm going to do a little menu here. I'm going to unequip the DLC Keyblade, equip the magic ring, and then equip 3 ethers. We unequip the DLC Keyblade because DLC is banned in any percent runs. But you can't actually like get rid of it without uninstalling the game and stuff like that. So it's just in the rules that you just have to unequip it. And you can't use it at all, and it's fine. And I also got that little magic ring right there, which gives me +2 magic. Which is very useful right now. And then I just equipped ethers because ethers are going to be the main thing we're using throughout the run. I'm going to be equipping other items, but not yet. And we're going to be using them much less frequently. We'll use a couple refocusers and high refocusers throughout the run. That's about it. Okay, so now I'm going to do some movement tech with air slide canceling. You can do infinite air slides. If you air slide, then swing, and then air slide again. Which is going to be used for a skip coming up in this world. Okay, and this is a timed fight. We aim to get over about 2 minutes. And then as you can see, my water is doing a lot more damage to these guys. And then here we're actually introduced to Grand Magic and the command gauge. So I just got second form, which is the ability that is given to me from this Keyblade. And now I'm going to actually go straight to my finisher because it gives me Magnet Splash. Okay, I'm going to use Goofy Mamardu here because I got hit out of that combo. That's fine. Okay, 153. It's a pretty good fight. I got knocked out of my 1 water combo. So I didn't get the extra Magnet Splash off. But basically with that combo, you get, with second form, you get Combo Master this early in the game. But you only have it when you're in second form. So I can use waters and get straight to my finisher, which I would not be able to do without hitting stuff if I wasn't in that form. Okay, and now we get Attraction Flow. And I'm going to use this pirate ship on this big rock dude because it does a lot of damage. And then I got Flare Force from Donald, which I'm going to use because it does a lot of damage. Look at that. It just does like a bar of damage like that. Okay. And yeah, with the pirate ship and then with Donald's situation command, I was able to do a lot of damage to him and kill him very quickly. That's something we're gonna be using attraction flow a decent amount throughout the run, and then we're gonna be using situation commands a lot. Now here I'm gonna stop in to get this ether real quick, because you get an ether just for visiting the shop the first time. Okay, now I'm going to stop here and pick up this water cuff link, because it gives me access to grand magic this early in the game. And this is the water cuff link. It gives me access to Water's, which is the final version of water.
Yes, now we know why the river's
this early in the game, which is very good, because normally I'd only be able to, if I used a bunch of waters and filled up my command gauge, I'd only be able to get Water. But now I can get Water's, which does much more damage, and it also has a much bigger range, so it helps me get a little bit of crowd control early on in the game. And then right there I was using the infinite air slides to get across that little gap, just save a little bit of time. But here is a big skip that avoids us having to do a fight. And then normally we'd have to fight those heartless that spawn down there and kill them all, and so we can get up the waterfall. But with that, we just skip right over it. Okay, I also need to equip this water cuff link. So that I can actually use Water's in this fight. Because the water cuff link only has +1 magic compared to the magic ring with Hadge +2, but having the ability to use Water's has way more benefits. And then right there I was able to get a few air slides off in succession. I don't usually get that many off in a row, because the timing's actually pretty hard. Okay. Here we're gonna make our way up the mountain so we can fight Rock Titan. And we don't have to climb the whole mountain. There's a bunch of cutscenes that skip us up the mountain. And now I have to make my way around to him again, and then I'll actually have to climb up the whole mountain. So in this fight, I'm going to want to use a lot of water so I can get Water's, because Water does a lot of damage to him. And I'm also hoping that I get a certain team attack, a certain situation command from Donald. But I don't think I'm going to get it because I got a situation command from Donald in the last fight. As you see, this Water does a lot of damage. And then he does this little stomp attack. There's nothing really you can do about it. Alright, so I have a Water's and a Flare Force actually stored up for this part, which is really nice because I can do a lot of damage immediately. Alright, and I can end this immediately because I did so much damage. This does a little bit over a bar of damage. And because of that, I'll be able to have a very quick fight. And then he just falls off the mountain. I'm going to pick up this chest right here. It has a fluorite in it, which is what we use to upgrade Keyblades, because we're going to need to do a couple of Keyblade upgrades throughout the run. so there I went for a couple of air slides, but I was unable to get them. And I'm going to stop here to refill my MP, because I want full MP for this next fight coming up. Alright, so in this fight, the game's going to introduce a concept of armor, which is where things don't stagger, and then once you get rid of the armor, they do stagger. And I'm going to immediately want to drop back and start using waters so I can get iframes as they rush towards me. And with that, I'm able to I'm able to not get hit, and then use this waters on them, because the waters eliminates the armor immediately. And then you can just use more waters to clean up the fight. And then now we just make our way up Olympus to fight the rest of the Titans. There's 3 more Titans. You fight the Fire Titan and the Ice Titan in one fight. That fight's kind of annoying. And then you fight the Wind Titan in the next fight after that. And then just using more full motion movement tech right here. And then now we get introduced to air stepping, which is where you can use the shot lock to jump right to targets. And then it's introduced in this tutorial, having to get to the top of Olympus using it. And then it is used a lot more throughout the run for movement. This is kind of challenging because there's a lot of debris that can get in the way, but we're able to get up just fine. And basically I'm going to use a lot of magic in this fight, and then use an ether so I can use more magic. Dodge roll through those so I don't get hit by them, and then I start attacking. And then the magic carousel actually puts me back in. This is another attraction flow. It puts me back in the center. Okay. I want to use that early, the finisher early, so I can get off this waters up. And then we're going to finish the fight up with Heroic Swing, which is Herc's team attack. And then clean up the fight just like that. Okay, and then this fight, your basic objective is to get as much damage as possible before he goes into second phase. You can also get off damage by reflecting these buildings back at him, which I was unable to do. So yeah, you just want to get as much damage off as possible right here. And then try to reflect buildings back. I was unable to get off a lot of damage, but we can still work with this if he gives me a good pattern. so now you just gotta dodge this. And then once you get down to him, let's do, well, you can attack him. And then, yeah, this guy likes to knock you back. I'm gonna use Shot Lock because that's my only form of damage output right now, really. And then, of course, he's gonna teleport away. And then now that he's back in the center, I can use Blaster Blaze to finish him off. Okay, not the best fight. Because normally you want to kill him before he teleports away, but there's not much you can do if you don't get enough damage off. And then now the game gives us the Hero's Origin Keyblade, which we're only going to use a couple times, but I keep it on just so I can swap Keyblades later. Because since this game actually introduces a cool mechanic, which is the ability to have multiple Keyblades on at once, so you can actually store Keyblade transformations. So that you can use them later when you want to. And then this fight right here, you actually get to play as Riku. Right now you're Riku and Mickey. You get your Riku and Mickey's also here. Then yeah, Demon Tower. When he goes red, he takes less damage. Okay. So when he's red, he takes less damage. When he's yellow, he takes more. So you want to try to get as much damage off as you can while he's yellow. Because it's up to him how long he stays red when he goes red. But basically, you just want to build up to finishers because Double Duel and Thundaza do a whole bunch of damage to him unless you take him out really quickly. And that gives you the Dream Heartbinder, which gives us the ability to summon Meow Wow, which is a very useful summon that I'll be using a lot throughout this run. Okay, now that we're done with our first world, the game is going to put us in the Gummy Ship, and we're going to fly over to Twilight Town. I'm actually going to stray away from the intended path right here because I want to go over to this waypoint over here. Waypoints are just points that you can embark from on the world map. I want to get this so I can use it later on. I also want to get this money so I can buy ethers. Most of our money, pretty much all of our money, goes into buying ethers. And now I have the coordinates to that waypoint so I can embark from there later on in the run. And now I just keep going towards our first world. Our first world is going to be Twilight Town. Twilight Town's a pretty short world. And yeah, basically in the Gummy, you just want to collect some money along the way. The Gummy ship we have right now is very slow, but after this, we're going to customize our Gummy ship. After Twilight Town, we'll customize our Gummy ship. And then we'll also be able to get other gummy ships later by taking pictures of constellations. Yeah. You can also boost in the gummy, which speeds you up a little bit, but you don't have a limited number of boosts, of course. Okay. Now, our first fight in Twilight Town, we're just going to be fighting some nobodies. We're going to be fighting Dusks and Snipers. My basic goal is to just use Water Zuz, but I also want to hit this guy so I get the pirate ship. What are you doing? Holy moly. I was unable to hit him. Alright, so I was able to get counter shield. I want to have counter shield and I want to store it for later. And then I have the pirate ship. I'm gonna use it right here because this is where most of the enemies are, and it's just doing a whole bunch of damage to them. And then just use the finisher because the finisher kills even more. That was a pretty good fight. Okay, now we're gonna fight a Demon Tide. Demon Tide has like a weird thing where he doesn't take as much damage as first. So I'm going to start off with a shot lock just because it does a bunch of hits to him. And I just want to spam some waters on him. And then now I'm going to switch into counter shield. Because when you store counter shields, you can do a whole bunch of damage. Okay, now he's gonna attack me. Now I'm gonna be able to punish him and do all that damage. Okay. And then you just kill him with the water stuff. So yeah. With counter shield, if you block and counter shield, you store an attack, and if you block twice, you store an even longer attack that hits a whole bunch more. And then since Demon Tide, when he goes red, he just attacks you. You can just guard and unleash a whole bunch of damage on him. Okay, now I'm gonna make my way over to the woods. In this game, you have to go through the sewers. I'm gonna try to use some flow motion movement. Go a little fast. In this fight, I'm gonna be fighting some Power Wilds. Power Wilds were in KH1. In this game, they're kind of annoying. They're just as annoying, in my opinion. Okay, I'm gonna drop back, do a shot lock. Just to help do a lot of damage to the entire first wave. Okay, so where did that guy go? I need that splash run. And then I want to use the splash run right here, because this does a lot of damage. And you also have to wait for the finisher to pop up. And then where's the last guy? Sometimes there's a guy that survives. Or two. Who's all the way over here. Okay. That fight is kind of annoying because there's a bunch of different enemies that are just spread across a pretty big room that can hide.
Next stop, the mansion.
Okay. And here I'm going to pick up a fluorite, another fluorite, so I can upgrade Keyblades. I'm not going to upgrade Kingdom Key at all. We only use Kingdom Key till the end of this world.
I see it. That building up ahead.
Yeah, slap this. Stop at the save point. There's only one more fight in Twilight Town. And it's coming up right after I skip another cutscene. Okay, in this fight there's just going to be a bunch of Dusks and Neo Shadows. And I'm going to try to use Waterza and then get another situation command. Or get another attraction flow that does a lot of AoE damage. Basically with all these fights, we're just trying to do AoE damage as best as we can. Yeah, and Neo Shadows kind of just do whatever they want half the time. Yeah, so basically I want to get off 2 Waterzas before I use the Mad Teacups, and we're going to use them right here. There's only a couple of guys left. Okay, whatever. Was one last guy that took a little while to die, but yeah. Now we're gonna make our way back to the actual town. And then there, just a little air step to just throw us right into the forest. I'm gonna pick up a refocuser chest right in here in the sewer that I need to use later. The flow motion movement on these walls can be a little finicky. Flow motion is extremely limited until later in the game when you start getting abilities that help extend its abilities. Or help extend its capabilities. So now we're collecting ingredients. You need to collect 9. A lot of people have different routes for this. This is just the route that I have found. I don't know any official timing that is like the fastest one, but this is just the one that I know how to do, and it feels pretty clean. Okay. Now that we're done collecting ingredients, we get the Shooting Star Keyblade, which we're going to be using for the next 2 worlds. I'm going to equip that, and then I'm just going to equip some abilities. Equip it over that so that it's equipped to me. And then abilities. I want Donald Thunder. I don't want Donald Arrow. Okay, so basically, I equipped Shooting Star, and then I gave myself abilities such as Combo Plus and MP Haste. And then I equipped Goofy's Lucky Strike ability because we want that to get drops for certain Keyblade items so we can upgrade the Keyblade more. And then I also unequipped Donald's Arrow because Donald's Arrow is kind of weird and we don't really want it on. Okay. And then I just want his Fire Boost. Now I'm going to actually edit my Gummy ship so we can have a faster ship. And the ship's going to be all guns, and 2 engines, and a cockpit. That's all we need for right now. And then we're going to embark to Toy Box. You have to make sure to change your ship, because it doesn't automatically change your ship. then, as you can see, this ship is much faster. And I actually just got a fluorite drop from those rocks, but I already picked up all the fluorites that I need. So if I change my fluorite route, if I got that, I wouldn't have to pick another chest. But since I get my fluorites earlier, it doesn't really affect anything. Okay, so this part's a little scary because there are mines here that you can hit. But luckily I was able to get past them. So with this gummy ship, I basically have like a very low amount of health. So if I hit one of those mines, they one-shot you. So you just gotta be a little careful there. And then now we're gonna fight this first gummy boss. I have to be careful that I'm not getting hit too much, because you do take a decent amount of damage in this fight. Okay. 26 isn't too bad. You can get a 23. But you have to have really good positioning so that you're constantly hitting him with the gun as he moves around. Now we get to go into Toy Box. So for this first fight, I'm going to be using Waterza again, but after this fight, we're going to ditch the Water Cuff Link and we're going to move towards a more fire-based attacks. Or more fire-based route, because I'm going to be using a lot more fire. Then with the Shooting Star Keyblade, I'm going to be doing a lot more damage with my waters. And then I want to wait to use this Waterza until that wave of shadow spawns in. And then I'm going to use the Mad Teacups because it does a lot of AoE damage. Okay, where's the last enemy? Okay. Normally, I wouldn't have to use that last Waterza or even build up to it. But the positioning of some of the enemies got away. So here I'm going to buy the Koopa Coin, Chocolate Mousse, 6 Tents, and then Ethers. So basically the Koopa Coin is a free revival in a fight. If you die in a fight, it'll restore your health and restore some MP. And the Chocolate Mousse is food that gives me +1 magic. Because everything in this route is based on magic. Something else I did right there was use Blizzard, because sliding along Blizzard is pretty fast. It's a lot faster than dodge rolling. This is going to be the first fight in the mech. And basically with the mech, your objective is to time your exploders right so they hit everything. Because exploders do a lot of damage. And yeah, the red guys have a lot of health, so it's kind of hard to take them out real quick. But yeah, exploders do a lot of damage. That's basically the gist of it. Okay. And then these guys like to back up right when you're about to hit them with the exploders, which is annoying. Yeah, and just attempting to get exploders to hit more than one thing at once. That was actually a pretty good fight. Now we're going to be using a lot of air stepping and stuff to speed up movement in this world. You also use mech for movements, which I'm going to use right here to get up to the second floor without going through the big rail in the middle of the room. You can just float up just like this. Now I'm going to stop and get this chest because it's a fire cufflink, which gives me access to Fire Raza, which is extremely broken this early in the game. This is just another fight where we use a mech. These dino guys die really fast. Okay, they die in 2 punches and a charge attack, which is really quick. Use a little blizzard here, and then we run up into the vent. I'm also going to be picking up this little refocuser chest right here. And then if you make it, if you get a good cycle, you can make it in there before that starts spinning. But I was not lucky enough to have that happen. Which I'm usually not, but yeah. Now to the left here is an item called the Gold Amulet. It actually has an ability on it called Money Converter, which means you get a lot more money drops. We give it to Donald because it doesn't really do anything if it's on us. But we want it to get all that extra money.
Is this it?
I'm gonna do a pretty big menu before the doll fight, which is coming up.
This is the one.
I'm gonna put the fire cufflink on me, put the gold amulet on Donald, and then I'm also gonna equip a few abilities and eat food so I get that extra magic stat. So I put the fire cufflink on me, gold amulet to Donald, fire boost on me so that I get much more fire damage, and then eat the food. So yeah. Wow. It's kind of bad blizzard movement. But yeah, basically food lasts for 20 minutes in like in-game time or whatever. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah, we're gonna use a lot of fire on this doll. So yeah, basically the whole point of that fight is you just want to use fire. That's how a lot of fights are going to be going throughout the rest of the run. There you just air step over real quick. Now we're going to fight a UFO. This fight is actually hit based. So all we can do is just do really physical combos. So yeah, I'm going to go into double air guns because it actually helps me do a little bit more damage quicker. And I want to get into this mech because since it's hit based, every hit from the mech counts as damage. and it doesn't matter how much damage it's doing.
See a pattern to how it moves.
But it also makes it a lot easier for me to hit him.
Almost there.
Okay. That gives us Thunder, which is very good AoE magic.
Ham said Rex was in the video game section.
And then we can just air step up to the 3rd floor and go into the VRMX minigame. This is a time minigame where there's multiple waves that spawn in. And basically you just want to do the first 2 waves as fast as possible to spawn in the boss. And we'll see if I can do that correctly. You need to kill things at certain times to spawn certain things. And when it all goes correctly, it can go very quickly. Okay, good. And we got this quick spawn. This guy spawns right here, so we need to kill him. We only have to kill the primes. And we want this guy to drop down for me, so I can kill him. Okay. And that guy usually is right there, so you can kill him with that blast. Where's the last guy? Here he is. Okay. Now we spawn in the big guy, who has about 3 bars of health, and we want to position it so that we can either hit him with a bomb or hit him with this part of the middle of the floor, because when it lights up, it does a lot of damage to him. And that should kill him. There we go. 119 is very fast. The fastest I've ever done is 118. I think some people have gotten sub 110, but a 119 is extremely fast for that. So that's very good. A lot of time save can come from killing the boss extremely fast, which I was able to take out his whole last bar with that bomb at the end.
Come on, fellas.
Sora, look!
Okay, there's no more boss fights because we're going to be leaving the world right before the final boss. But there's just a lot of movement, really, and some like simple mech fights. That's it for the rest of this world. Oh god. Okay. Yeah, we go into this little, like, I think it's like a kid's place where kids play or whatever. But yeah, basically we need to move certain sets of blocks to help us get up to a vent. And that involves 3 fights where the blocks are being guarded. This should be the last guy. Just like that. And then we move the first set of blocks. It eventually gives us a cutscene to skip, and then we go move the second set of blocks, which is over in this little like jungle gym.
Hey, there's some over there.
And then this one we're shooting little heartless, not mechs. There's 3 little spawns in this jungle gym. One on each floor. You gotta take out. This is the second spawn. And then last one's on this bottom floor. Okay. I want to take out that guy because he can run away and be annoying. Alright, that was really fast. And then we have to go back up here to move the blocks. Okay, and then there's a little hole right here that you can pop through. And then instead of going down the slide or doing any other stuff, we just fall right through and go right over to the last fight. I'm gonna pick up this Buster ring because I need it later. And then right in here is another fight. Yeah, so it's actually possible for the game to crash right there, and I was scared it was gonna crash. Okay, and then use a second finisher just to quick end the fight. Now this is the third set of blocks, and once we run up the blocks, we get to leave the world, because we're going to come back later and finish the boss off when we have a couple more options at our disposal and make the boss fight much faster. Okay. And then there's actually a cactuar, but yeah. I'm going to do a little menu. I'm going to equip the magic ring to get 2 more magic because we've got an accessory slot. And then we just got high jump, so I'm going to equip that. And then we leave the world. So we can go to Kingdom of Corona. I'm actually going to depart from this waypoint. The one that I got earlier on the way to Twilight Town. Because it makes the trip here much, much faster. You're way closer than where you normally depart from. So going slightly out of our way in the Twilight Town Gummy mission saves a bunch of time right here. So we can go right here, get all this money, and XP, but the XP doesn't matter. And then Kingdom of Corona is right there, waiting for us. And there's no boss before this world. It just lets you right in. Yeah, so the first fight here, I'm actually going to be using Meow for the first time. And I'm going to immediately end Meow with the finisher, because the finisher does a lot of damage. It's basically a big pop that just does a lot of AoE damage. Just one big AoE hit. And I just want to kill a couple of these guys to spawn in the next wave. Okay. Now I can summon Meow again and end it. And it just immediately ends the fight. Okay, I'm actually going to stop at this shop right here and upgrade my Keyblade because I forgot to do that earlier. But I'm also going to customize Arrow and then customize Thunder real quick.
Where are you? Yeah. Flynn? Yeah.
So if I stop right here, I can go into the workshop, and then I can upgrade Shooting Star once. Because it makes a couple couple of fights in this world a little easier. You don't really need to, but it just makes them a little easier and a little more consistent, and I'd rather have that. Because it gives you one extra magic, which is pretty helpful.
Look, the flowers are growing on top of the water.
This is a fight where I'm just going to be using a lot of arrow, because 2 arrows will kill them, and then the Aurora can one-shot everything here. I also like to be in the air. Because with arrow, when you're in the middle of it, it actually does an attack. It lets you do flow motion. Trying to save enough MP for these guys. Okay. That was a pretty slow fight, but it happens. Air step over this guy just for a little bit of movement tech. This cutscene, for some reason, you can only skip it like halfway through it, which is really weird, but it's just how it is.
Look.
So as soon as she like looks down, and after she says "look," you can skip the cutscene, which is really odd, but that's just how it is.
Do we have to go?
Oh, we got a little bit of movement, and then there's gonna be another nobodies fight. The nobodies we're fighting are actually Marluxia's nobodies, which are called Reapers, and they die in 4 fires with this this like my magic stat being so high. If I didn't upgrade Shooting Star, it'd take 5 fires, and then it gets a little crazy having to do that much magic.
Of course there had to be nobodies.
We've never seen this kind before.
Okay, that was a good fight. So yeah, the Firaza actually has an AoE. It's a very small AoE, but it does do AoE damage. So you want to get
Really don't like what
some
that
of them
guy
grouped
said.
up together,
Yeah, we better find
and that helps make it a lot easier. Getting more than 1 kill makes it a lot faster. I'm gonna need to buy ethers at the next shop, because I only have 2 ethers left right now, and I need 3 ethers for the next fight. Luckily, there's a shop right before the fight. Makes things pretty simple. In an optimal route, I wouldn't buy ethers until later, but I can't do the right strats without buying ethers.
I can't see where we're going.
I actually just got like that perfect blizzard because like the terrain's extremely like uneven here, so like sometimes you get hit off the blizzard and stuff like that.
They can climb walls?
Okay, yeah, those guys throw little nuts that can stun you because there's status elements in this game, and that's something you want to avoid like at all costs, because when you're stunned you just fall back to the bottom of the hill and then you just stand there waiting. And it's really annoying. Okay. So I'm gonna buy my ethers right here.
put this in the mail. Whoa, this place is beautiful.
It's so...
Normally we'd be stopping to pick up like ether chests and stuff along the way, but we don't need them anymore with the current routing. I'm doing a little...
We need to scale these cliffs.
I don't know if this is intended or not, but when you jump here, you get a little bit of extra height because of it putting you into flow motion and hitting you up. And it allows you to skip some animations of like doing things with Rapunzel to get across certain gaps,
Looks like a good place to cross.
and lets you skip to the end. And then I'm gonna grab that Damascus. That's another Keyblade material used to upgrade Keyblades.
Let's...
I'm gonna use this tent to get my MP back, so I have full MP at the start of this fight. And then that's the only RC we do with Rapunzel, and it brings us right to this fight. So I'm gonna summon Meow Wow, and Meow Wow's bounce does a lot of damage to these guys. Because there's 3 waves of Power Wilds here, and you can take out the first 2 with his bounces, and then move on to the 3rd wave with this finisher and just finish them off. And it ends that immediately.
Whoa, what? He transformed.
What is it with me and horses?
Nice.
Okay, so I'm gonna guard him right here. And then build up with Ralph. And this should kill him. Or it did most of the damage. And then I'll also be able to get some help from the party members. Okay, I'm gonna use both ethers there. And just finish him off with a bunch of fire for the last wave. There, he's dead. Yeah, so with Ralph, we got him in Toy Box. And Ralph, you build up and then you wreck the build, and it does a lot of damage. That's it, basically. So I'm going to equip Barter Boost and Super Jump. So now I can do jumps in flow motion, and it allows me to get up here and get this Mage's Earring. Mage's Earring is in a ring with, I think, 3 magic points. 3 magic and 1 attack, so it gives us 3 magic, which is really strong.
Wait, come back.
And then I'm going to be getting another
Let us
3
follow them.
magic ring coming up called the Rune Ring. And when I equip both of these, it makes my magic stat like through the roof.
Wait. Oh my gosh.
And it allows us to do some pretty quick strats. Just doing some air steps to get a little bit of movement in, because normally you just slide down this whole hill, which is pretty slow. And now we finally made it to the actual city of Corona. And we're not here for very long, but we do get to do a mini game and get a really broken item, I feel like. So yeah, the chest I'm going to be picking up in the middle of the town in a sec is called the Rune Ring. This is an ether chest, which I just pick up, and then there's the Rune Ring over here, which actually, it has 3 magic, and it also has an ability called Extra Cast, which makes it so that... Wait a sec, I'm going to equip the Rune Ring, and then the magic couple, the Mage's Earring. Okay. And then it makes it so that no matter how much MP you have left, you can always get off another cast of magic after that. So if you have 2 MP, you can use any spell and you won't run out of MP unless it's a cure. So it gives you 1 extra cast of magic no matter what, which is really cool. So this is dancing.
This is so fun.
And you basically want to go fast enough, like do whatever you can to get this RC to go to the middle as fast as possible.
This is so fun!
And what I do, I think the fastest way is to do 4 RCs and then do like the triangle on one of the barrels, because the barrel gives you, dancing on the barrel gives you a decent, fills the gauge up a decent amount. And this is part 2. You get to do 6 RCs with people.
This is so fun!
So you do 3 and then 3, like 3, 1 barrel, and then 3 more people, and then the barrel. And if you do it correctly, which I am not doing, you can fill this up without doing anything else, which I wasn't able to get. So I had to do an extra dance with the person, but that's fine.
Keep dancing!
And you're supposed to time your inputs here, but you can actually just mash them, and it lets you keep going, like, build up anyway, so it doesn't really matter what you do here.
You got it! To the boats!
Now, this fight, we're just going to be fighting more nobodies, so there's going to be a lot of fire spam. Then I'm going to do the magic carousel right in the middle here, because it'll kill all these guys, and then it'll leave all these guys with 1 fire left that'll kill them. And you finish them off just like that. Because normally you'd have to do another 4 fires on all of them in the last wave, but because of the magic carousel, you only have to do 1 fire. Now we're gonna be coming up to the Grim Guardian S boss fight, after I run all the way back to Rapunzel's tower. And this fight I'm gonna use, well, there's a fight before it that I'm gonna use Meow Wow, and then for Grim Guardian S I'm gonna be using Ralph. So now we just run all the way back to the tower. And I'm gonna have to stop on the save point here to restore my MP, because you need full MP to use Lynx, and I'm gonna be using Meow Wow on the first fight coming up, and then I'm gonna be using Ralph on the boss fight. So you want full MP for both fights.
Is it just me, or are the heartless multiplying?
That can't be good. Hurry!
We're almost there.
Okay, and then on this force fight right here, I'm just gonna be using Meow Wow. And I'm basically gonna nuke the fight. So I'm gonna go Meow Wow, bounce once to get rid of both of these guys' armor, and then pop, and everything dies. So, yeah, because 1 bounce with Meow Wow gets rid of the Puff's armor,
The tower.
and then now I have full MP for this fight, so I can go Ralph right away.
What happened up there?
Okay. So, normally you can one-shot her right there, but she was left with a bar and a half of damage left because she did a different movement at the start. But luckily, I can just pop 2 ethers and quick kill her. That screws up my ether count a little bit, but I should be fine because the route is pretty lenient on ethers. I also could have shot locked her twice to avoid ethers, avoid using ethers, but my go-to reaction was just to use the 2 ethers. Okay, now we're gonna go back to Toy Box so we can finish it up. So I'm gonna be equipping the Ever After Keyblade, which is the Keyblade that I just got, because it has a very high magic stat, and it also has a very good Keyblade transformation, which is Mirage Staff. We're gonna be using that a lot, and we're gonna be using this Keyblade for basically the rest of the run. So here I'm gonna do a menu. I'm gonna equip Ever After. I'm gonna put on the 2 refocusers that I got earlier. And I'm also gonna use the magic boost that I got from Corona. And I'm gonna upgrade the Keyblade 4 times right here. This is the reason I was collecting items throughout. And I barely had enough to upgrade it, but we got lucky. Or I got unlucky, but I was barely lucky enough. That's basically how it was. Sometimes you cut it a bit close with your materials, and it's a little scary. Okay, so this fight, I'm going to do 3 shot locks and 5 fires to kill him. Okay. Okay. Now that I did my fires, I can do the rest of my shot locks. Then I'm going to use both refocusers. Okay. That should kill him. Yeah, it usually kills him on the last hit because you just, like, barely have enough damage, which is still a very quick fight. It's a lot faster than the fight would be if I did it earlier when I was in Toy Box. And because we use in-game time to officially time the game, the load times of leaving the world and coming back don't affect it. So it ends up being way faster. But it ends up being faster even with load times, just because of how quick the fight is if you do it later. And then now we're done with our first 2 worlds, and we get to move on to a new Ring of Worlds. But before we do that, I'm going to be taking a detour with the gummy ship, because I want to get a super fast gummy ship that I'm going to use for the rest of the run. I'm going to depart right from this waypoint, and I'm just going to go basically just straight until I hit a constellation that I can take a picture of. Because you can also take pictures in this game, which you don't do in the run. And this is like the only point where you actually take a picture of something. Because our gummy ship right now is not very fast. It's faster than the ship we started out with, but it's still not very fast. And then I'm going to go straight until I hit this waypoint, then I'm going to go to the right a little bit just so I can get to the constellation. I want this waypoint for later on, which is basically what we did with Corona, but now we're in a different part of space, so, and then we have access to this waypoint and other things. because this waypoint is pretty close to a couple of the other worlds, and then I obtained the coordinates. I can go this way towards the constellation. So this gummy ship that I'm trying to go get, it's like 2 minutes out of the way, something around there, minute and a half to 2 minutes out of the way. But it saves all that time back and then some. And the constellation's just starting to peek out from behind this rock. And we can take a picture of it right there. And it gives us access to a ship called the Endymion. I think that's how it's pronounced. And then we go back to the world map. Now we can use that ship. This ship is way faster. Then we also get access to a special weapon, which helps us do more damage in the gummy fights. There's two more gummy bosses that we have to fight. Okay, and then we go this way. And then, yeah, as you can see, this ship is just way faster. And then I'm gonna go, if you go into fights and exit them, it restores your boosts, which is something that we like to take advantage of. Now there's another gummy boss right here. It is possible to one cycle him, but I was a bit of damage short. Yeah, this ship does more damage than the other ship we had, which was like all guns, but it also goes a lot faster. And like I already saved back like 20-ish of the seconds just on that short little gummy mission alone. That's how fast that ship is. Okay, now we're in Monsters Inc. This world has like a lot of force fights. And we're going to be using a lot of Meow Wow. But this first fight I'm going to be using Ralph. So I'm going to build all the way up with Ralph, and then I'm going to wreck it to try and kill this Turtle Toad right here. And then I'm just going to do a shot lock. The Corona shot lock does a lot of damage. So another thing to note is that shot locks, if you do a max shot lock compared to like an unmaxed shot lock, you get a different shot lock.
Feel much better when Boo's back in her own room.
So the Corona shot lock with without getting a max shot lock is Drain, which is actually really useful. So you're gonna buy a beef saute, then 2 fresh fruit compotes, and then ethers. I bought a beef saute because that gives me an extra +1 strength, which I'm going to be using later, because there's a point in the run where we actually do want strength. And then the fresh fruit is just more magic-based food. So here, if I do this Meow Wow, you can actually one-shot all these guys. Okay, and because I don't have enough MP yet, I'm going to shot lock these guys. Normally I'd shot lock them after I take out most of these guys. But sometimes you gotta do things in reverse order. and then that was able to just end the fight. So it doesn't really matter what order you do that in, you can still do the fight basically the same exact speed. So now I'm going to use a tent. I'm going to eat food. And then I'm also going to give myself ethers, because I had to give myself those 2 refocusers earlier.
Where Boo's door flew.
This is going to be the first rail riding section. Okay, basically you're just riding on this rail. You want to kill the Heartless so they don't hit you and stop you. And then dodge the lightning. The reason I use the tent in that menu is so that I have full MP at the start of this fight, and then I can just meow out right away. Nice and simple. I'm going to shot lock here, just because there's a lot of enemies right here, and the 2 large bodies have a lot of health, and I just want to take out most of this wave. Now I want to use this Arosa right here. And you just end the fight very quickly. So yeah, now that I have the Corona Keyblade Ever After, and I upgraded it, I have access to the ability Arosa. So if I use Arrow, or sometimes just randomly, I can get Arosa, which is very useful because Arosa is a very big AoE damage spell. Okay, and I just got Fire S, so I'm going to put that on. And then Arosa is a very powerful spell, and having access to this early in the game is pretty cool. Because normally I'd have to fight out like multiple waves right there to get that fight to end faster. But with Arosa, you just use Arosa and it just can take out multiple waves like immediately. That's how good it is. So right now I have access to Arosa and Firaza because I have the fire coupling on. And having access to both of those right now is pretty broken. There's actually some Heartless that spawn right here, but you can just walk right past them and go in the door.
Fool's door should be right around here somewhere.
Okay, and now we gotta dodge these lasers.
Controlling those things and smash it, that should do the trick.
It's really weird. They send you like flying when they hit you, which is pretty annoying, but luckily they're not too hard to dodge. And then we just break this machine. Keep going. And then once we go up this elevator, there's going to be another forced fight. So in the forest fight, there's like multiple waves that spawn. You want to take out you want to take out certain heartless. You want to take out the soldiers and the turtle toads because that'll cause the last wave to spawn in, and then you can just end it immediately with Meow Wow. So what I like to do is I like to shot lock, try to take out the soldiers and the turtle toads.
The fence is electrified. Don't get zapped.
And then now I can end the fight with Meow Wow.
Pretty sure the control panel for this place is upstairs.
Okay. Now I'm gonna skip part of this by just going up around there with low motion. Now we can just break this guy and go into the next force fight. This force fight has quite a few waves. And I'm just gonna use a lot of Meow Wow and Shot Lock. Now I'm gonna use Meow Wow. And unfortunately I got another wave. And then since I got that wave, I got both of these turtle toads, which is really annoying. Luckily I got that flare force, which helped take both of them out.
Think we need to thin out their ranks a bit more.
Okay, I want to go up here, and if I can get up here and get this thing. Alright, I'm gonna use this pyro ship on this guy just because it makes it a lot easier to do a whole bunch of damage and kill him. Okay. A little slow, but it's whatever. Now we have Combo Master, which gives us the ability to just keep doing our combos even if we're not hitting anything. Yeah, I'm gonna pick up a chest right here, which is called the item in it is called the Fireman Rosette, and it gives me resistance to fire, and I'm pretty sure it also stops me from getting burned, the saddest element of getting burned. So I'm gonna equip this right here, and then I'm gonna equip Air Combo Plus, Combo Master, and Leaf Racer. Just a bit of Blizzard movement right here. Okay, and then
Factory. It's a total mess.
I know.
this force fight right here,
We just have to
I want to
keep
use Arrow to try to get up to Arosa. And then I'm going to be using Water to try to take out the flame cores that will spawn in the second wave. I'm also going to use the Splash Run. And I'll let them deal with him while I... And that should kill him. Okay. That was a pretty good fight. So... It's luck-based whether or not you get the splash run. But the splash run does a lot of damage. I'm gonna pick up this Hyper Focuser because I'm gonna be using on the boss of the next world. Okay. You want to blizzard through there, but I did it at the wrong angle. Okay. There's a chest here. It's another Damascus. Because you need one more to upgrade the Keyblade, and I'm also going to be picking up another Keyblade, another item later to upgrade this Keyblade 2 more times. And that's as high as we upgrade this Keyblade in the run. And just grab some MP there, because I want full MP for this fight. And then I want that splash run, just because it takes out a lot of enemies, and it hits like right in the middle when you use it right there. That was a really good fight. The splash run takes out like most of the enemies. Okay, now I'm gonna use a tent right here because I want full MP and stuff. Well, actually, I don't need to use that tent because I already have full MP and everything. Okay. I built up some Mirage Staff right there. Because I want to have Mirage Staff for the boss fight of this world, which is called Lump of Horror. So yeah, for the first phase of Lump of Horror, he takes basically chip damage. But with Mirage Staff, you can summon clones that do a bunch of single hits. So even though you do chip damage, you're still doing damage because you're doing so many individual hits. And this is also the reason that I have this Keyblade on. I don't use it at all in battle. I only use it so I can store my Mirage Staff right here. Because normally you just build up Mirage Staff in the fight, and that'll be fine, but it takes forever to build it up in the fight. And it's just way easier to just have it going into the fight. Makes the fight a lot more consistent and a lot better. And then, of course, he did hands, which is the slowest pattern you can do, because you can't actually hit him during it. I'm gonna summon these clones. So we can start doing damage to him. I'm actually gonna Ralph right here. And this should kill him. Alright, he was left with a little bit of health left, but it's fine. And now we head to Arendelle. And because I was able to hit that waypoint earlier on the way to get the Endymion ship, I can now spawn... I can now start the gummy ship much closer to Arendelle, which is very good. And we just start from this waypoint right here. And we're able to get to Arendelle much quicker. And then Arendelle's already right there. Takes barely any time at all. But the thing with this ship is that since the ship's so fast, it doesn't actually save all that much time from the waypoint, but since you are closer, it still saves time. But like if you were in other ships, being at that waypoint would save a lot more time. Okay, so at the start of this world, I'm just gonna stop at the shop and buy some ethers since you spawn right next to a shop, and I'm probably getting a little low on ethers right now.
Do you think the Heartless are after her?
Okay. I'm just gonna take a little shortcut through the woods just because it's a slightly shorter path for getting right here. It's just a slightly shorter path. So we're a little cutscene right here that you can only like it takes like a second or two to let you skip it. And this is a world where I'm going to be trying to air slide a lot.
I can run up this.
Yeah, no problem.
Just because there's most of the world is like just a slope. Okay, now we have the ability to use Simba. Simba does a lot of damage. Mostly to Heartless or enemies. But he does do damage to bosses like this. Okay. Now that we took out all of those guys, we want to do 2 full shot lucks on this guy. And that should take him out. Now that's gonna put us inside this little labyrinth. We gotta make our way through. And we're gonna be using Simba on all the force fights. And we're gonna hope that I can get quick ends to the fights.
Yeah, we'll freeze if we don't find a way out.
I'm just trying to get these air slides off. I'm gonna have to pop an ether here. Okay. And now I'm gonna use King's Flare right away and hope that I get a quick end to the fight, which I did not. But luckily, since we have Mage's Earring on, we get more MP drops, and it gives us the ability to have full MP right away and be able to use fires. And then I have to use an ether there so that I can use Simba at the start of this fight. And I was able to get the quick kill right there. The goal is to get all 4 fights to go like that, but it's really hard, and it's kind of not entirely dependent on you. And I'm going to hit this save point just to get focus back. Just in case I have to use it, since there's time anyway.
There might be something up there.
Okay. And then for this fight, hopefully this is the one that you should always be getting the quick end on. Just because it's such a small room, there's not as much room for them to move around and get outside of the range of King's Flare. Okay, this is the last fight of the labyrinth. And cool. Okay, going 3 for 4 on the quick kills is pretty good. I usually don't get even 3, I usually only get around 2. I'm gonna grab this chest here.
This must be the exit.
Just because I can sell it later and it'll help me get more ethers. Okay, now that we're out of here, I need to put on the fire cuff link and then eat food. So equipment, Mage's Earring will become the fire cuff link. And then need cuisine. Eat both of these. Okay. So I eat the one that gives me strength right there because I need it for Pirates of the Caribbean, which is the next world. And eating it right there, it'll carry over to the beginning of the world, which is when I need it. I also grabbed an elixir chest along the way there, which I'm going to be selling later just to get ethers. And then now we're going to be sliding down a mountain, dodging dragons. That's what's going to be happening for the next like minute or two.
It's closing in. I got this.
So yeah, basically we just have to dodge their laser beams, which is pretty easy to do. You just got to kind of be paying attention a little bit. But like once you get hit by one, it gets like a lot harder to keep dodging it, so that's why you just got to be a little careful. Now that all three are out, it gets a little more intense. Okay. Now we get to do a little sledding section where basically we just collect some money because it's a little auto-scroller. Not really, it's not really an auto-scroller because like you can speed it up a little bit.
Oh yeah!
But it's basically an auto-scroller.
All right.
So there's not really much happening right here. We're just getting some money. And then at the end of this, we're gonna fight the dragons that were chasing us down the mountain. And since they're ice dragons, they die super quick to fire. That's how a lot of stuff in this world works, just because it's all ice. Okay. Yeah, I didn't want to waste another ether there, so I shot locked them. But they die pretty quickly to fire. And now we have to collect the pieces of Olaf and put them back together. Basically, we're going to go around the back and go an unintended way to get to the first body part. So normally you'd go up there, up that little waterfall, frozen waterfall thing,
Yep, that's Olaf's voice.
but
I call this cozy.
we're going to go this way. And then we're going to come back and get the rest of the parts. Okay. Now that he's back together, we're about to fight out a little fight, and we're just gonna summon Simba and take care of all these guys real quick. Okay. I'm going to equip the Mage's Earring, and then equip Grand Magic Extender, Double Flight, and then the second Air Slide. That's all we do in that menu. Okay, and then now that we have another Air Slide, our Air Slide goes even farther.
Me too. We better skedaddle.
And then, yeah, this whole segment is like a lot of movement.
Just keep moving. You'll warm up.
Gee,
Okay.
nothing ever gets you down, huh, Sora?
Okay. Wow. I don't know. I don't know what happened right there. Sometimes the game just doesn't let you double flight, even though you haven't used it yet.
Oh, right. I love snow.
I know what to do, Sora.
We're back. Finally.
Yeah, I wonder if Anna and the others made it there yet.
Okay, and then now this fight is Marshmallow, and we're gonna use a lot of fire, and then we're gonna try to shot lock him at the end.
Nice. Blade. Take this. Yeah. Fire. Back off.
Okay, that was a really good fight. That kind of makes up for the movement. The movement was not very good. Okay. So now I'm gonna go get the rune ring. Not the rune ring, the force ring. There's a force ring chest over here.
But he sure does seem to have some kind of connection to Elsa.
Okay. So this is a force ring. Now we go over to this load zone. Okay, so the next fight coming up is a bit of a doozy. Because you can skip his DM, but it's really hard. And it's like really precise too. But we're gonna go this way. Then over here there's gonna be a Moogle shop. I'm gonna stop at this Moogle shop because it's possible for it to give me a magic boost. So I'm gonna hit the save point to restore my MP and focus. I'm gonna get this, see if I get this magic boost, which I did not. Okay, so I'm gonna equip the hybrid focus that I got, and then over the mage's earring, I'm gonna equip the force ring. And then before the boss fight, there's actually a little kind of mini game thing with snow pushing you back, wind pushing you back, but we're just gonna skip right through it with Simba. And then I'm gonna use a tent right here, just so I get my MP back. Okay, so the strat for this fight is to do 2 shot locks, spam fire, then use the hyper focuser and use 2 more shot locks. And if you can do that, and then you're in a very good position to get the DM skip. But it's also very hard to do that. I'm gonna try to do it right now. Okay. I didn't get 1 DM skip, but hopefully I can get... I don't get double DM'd here. Wow.
You got this. Come on.
Okay, that was a very good fight for only getting getting DM'd once, so that's pretty good. And then now we're gonna head off to the Caribbean.
They have.
Hey, Sora! You got more worlds to visit.
Okay, now that we departed from that waypoint, the Caribbean is literally right here. It's another reason that waypoint saves so much time. It's because like you're right next to the Caribbean. Okay, so in this world, I'm gonna equip the Buster Ring, the Laughter Ring, and the Valor Ring, and then the Happy Gear, because doing so gets me a high enough strength where I can have a fast vulture fight. I'm gonna do that right now. So, Happy Gear, and then Valor, Buster, Laughter. Happy Gear, Valor, Buster, Laughter. And that should put me up to 39 strength, which will speed up the Raging Vulture boss fight by quite a bit.
Shooting at us.
Ceasefire!
Here comes some more.
Get away, you barnacles!
That's who's doing this.
No one said you could use my ship!
Blaze.
Where are you? There you are. Okay. I like to use Blaster Blaze right here just because it sunlocks them. And then we can just hop out and switch to Happy Gear and kill him. We want Happy Gear on because it has a much higher strength stat than the Ever After Keyblade. And it helps us get to that 39 strength.
Jack said to head for the island straight in front of us.
There's a cutscene. Okay.
There's Heartless on those ships.
Ready the cannons!
Wow.
Take this.
Okay, so normally you'd want to hit both of their little orbs to kill them immediately. But the one guy hid his orb from me before I could hit it. Okay. This is going to be the Raging Vulture fight. And with our normal magic route, with our magic stat being high, we do pretty much chip damage here. But with collecting certain accessories and stuff throughout the run, and then equipping Happy Gear, we are able to actually do decent damage here. And not only does this gun do more damage, but we can also shoot bullets into him and do lots of damage. As you can see, I'm already at the point where he's stunned the first time. and sometimes he gets a little too far away, so you can't use bullets on him. Okay, that was a very fast fight. Sometimes he's a little more aggro than others, and he keeps like attacking you or running away and stuff like that. But luckily he was pretty nice there. So I'm gonna switch my Keyblade back to Ever After here, because when you go underwater, the next section is underwater. You can't switch your Keyblade, so I'm gonna do that. So I switched that. I'm also gonna buy Ethers and 3 Crepe Suzettes, which give you +2 magic, which is very good. Okay, and then now I'm gonna change my stuff back to magic. And back up link. Okay. I also had to eat food. I almost forgot that. Okay. So that's good. In this little undersea cavern tunnel right here, we're gonna stop and go to our right here and get this adamantite, which gives us the ability to upgrade this Keyblade an extra time. Get us an extra magic stat. Okay. There's so many jellyfish right there. It's really hard to get all the way through there without actually taking damage, so it's whatever. And then controlling Sora when you're speeding up like this is also really hard. Now we're gonna hit this chest, and it's actually a boss. It's actually really easy to die under here, so I'm actually being pretty careful with his attacks. Okay, that was a really good fight. Now, I'm going to grab this chest right here, because it's Ariel. Ariel is a very useful summon. She can do a lot of damage. Or Link, whatever it's called. They're technically the same thing. Okay, so now we're going to get another ship. Because we lost our ship earlier. Yada, yada, yada. Something with the story, yeah. Now we're gonna get another ship, and on this ship there's a very useful item. It's called the Celestiad. So I'm gonna get off right here, and I'm gonna grab this item.
Now we're true pirates.
Alright, sea's yours to explore.
So I'm gonna equip this over the rune ring. I'm gonna equip another ether. I'm gonna use a tent, and then I'm gonna customize the Naga.
Just sail by, mates.
Prepare to set sail!
And I use that tent so that I'd have full MP for the fight. There's a fight coming up, and for some reason your MP carries over all the way from now. Even though there's like multiple different fights that happen until then, but yeah.
This ship is great.
Okay.
I'll say.
She's got nothing on the pearl, mates.
Aww.
I've never seen stuff spawn right there. Wow. Okay. Alright.
Fire!
Now, we're supposed to beat Luxor in a boat race.
Say we make it interesting. Let's try at those cannons.
And there's you get boosts from hitting green orbs. And then you also get Tidal Wave from killing stuff with blue orbs. So we want to get Tailwind in this. Because it gives us a little boost so we can speed it up. Tidal Wave is good for if you're like stuck. You can just, because you just float up in the air and you can fly over everything. It helps if you're stuck, but it doesn't really speed this up. So it can be good to have one, but like, it doesn't really do actually anything. Oh god, oh god, oh god. It's a little, it gets a little scary.
Don't let up now.
Go, go, go!
Good mate.
Take this.
All right!
Okay. Now that we're done that, we actually have to fight Luxord. And I got a raging cannon just like that. Okay.
Take this. Let's do this. Whoa! Fire! Let's do this.
We got him now!
Let's do this.
Scuttle 'em.
Okay, so yeah, you want raging cannon just because it does so much damage. And then you can just kill him just like that.
Airborne.
And you can skip that cutscene with just hitting the square button. It just skips that cutscene. Now we have to fight a bunch of Heartless.
Back off. Back off. Back off. Nice. Back off. Strike. Yeah. Back off. Nice. Back off. Back off. Take this. Back off.
Oh god, what are you doing?
Gimme.
And that killed him. Okay, whatever. So yeah, you want to use a lot of thunder in that fight, and then I use shot lock to take out the armor anchors because they have a lot of health. And now we get to collect some crabs.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Huh.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sora!
Take this.
Over here! I found the crabs are getting away!
Wait. Okay, whatever.
Ready?
That's fine.
Here goes! Oh,
So yeah, this is the route that I think is pretty quick. So yeah, you want to...
I bet you there's a lucky emblem here.
Alright, whatever. So you want to get here like quick as possible.
Yeah. 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 Back off. Hop on. Come on.
And then you want to use this magic teacups because it just breaks all these little barrels and it gets you the bulk of your
Bet you that's nearly enough.
stuff.
Yeah.
Ready?
Now we're gonna go
Goes! Oh,
start heading back over to the ship because we almost have enough of our crabs. And basically, we also want to go right here because there's a sorcerer's ring right there, and the sorcerer's ring has +5 magic. And there's a bunch of battles right here. We can just hit. And then we want to shot lock back over, or air step back over to the ship. And then, now that we're done with crab collection, we're gonna leave the world and go to San Francisco, actually. And then before I leave, I'm gonna put the Sorcerer's Ring over the Fire Cuff link. And that's it. We get to leave this world, and then we get to come back later and finish it. No waypoint for this world. We just go the normal route. And then I'm gonna hit this guy just to get my boost back. And then get a little money, get a little bit of money for here. Almost hit one of those mines. Don't want to. Well, it doesn't really matter because you don't die, but from hitting a mine in this ship, you have a lot of HP, but you still don't want to get slowed down. All right, this is gonna be the first usage of aerial. There's gonna be a metal troll here on the bridge that we fight, and it's the first usage of aerial, and it takes them out pretty quickly. Yeah, so all these Heartless die in one Thundaga. So we just gotta walk down the bridge using Thundaga. Okay. And because he doesn't stagger, it just keeps doing damage. And it just destroys his health. And here I'm going to upgrade Ever After 2 more times, because I now have the Adamantite. And it also gives me my magic boost. Okay. Now we get to do a little mini game. It's called Flash Tracer. It's basically where you just run through this little obstacle course that Hiro sets for you. And luckily we can skip little parts of it. Like normally it'd want me to walk forward and go through all this stuff, but actually I can just do this. Just air step right to this, and it lets me do this.
You gotta keep up, Sora.
Jump side to side and go through the ring.
Yeah.
You got this.
I don't know if it's faster to dash. It doesn't feel like it's faster, but I'm not entirely sure whether it's faster or not. You actually have to hit a checkpoint that's right at the top there before you can drop down here.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Okay. And there is movement here where you can air step to the top of the building and skip some stuff, but I don't know it, so I'm not doing it. Okay. 136 for not doing the optimal strats is a pretty good time. I know with optimal strats you can get around a 120 or maybe even sub 120, but I don't know the optimal strats there. And there we got Stitch. I don't use Stitch at all in the run. There's like 2 or 3 strats that use him, but I don't like those strats, and I feel like I get better fights without using him, so I just don't use him at all. Okay. So now we get to kill a bunch of Heartless, and then we get to fight a Dino. That's basically what's gonna happen. So when I spawn in here, I'm gonna actually do a Thundaga just to kill these enemies, get some extra EXP. And then I'm just gonna air step up here to where the fight is. And this fight you just spam Thunder. And it just ends it. So there you want to aerial. Because he takes a lot of damage. He also has like multiple different hitboxes. But he kind of ran away from me during aerial, so I just did a shot lock while he was still down to... Okay. And then we can just air step up, and then we can air step over to him and kill him. Just like that. And then there I just got Firaga, which is what we're going to be using for the rest of the game, because Firaga is like really, really good. And now we get to do all the nano stuff. So there is a magic boost chest right here we want to grab. And luckily it's right on the way to where we want to go. And then here I just want to collect as much money as I can because this is a little time fight that you can't speed up. So I collect as much money as I can. And I also grab that just to sell it later, because it's there. You're basically just collecting money the whole time, getting as much as you can.
Wasabi,
We're gonna take out.
can
We're
you hear
gonna
me?
we're gonna rescue Wasabi first.
Improvise. I know.
Okay, so and then we'll go this way to get Fred.
Fred, you okay?
I'm getting close. My arms and legs. Gotta find Glad you're okay, Fred.
Alright, so now I'm gonna hop on this ball because it can immediately break. This one, I don't know all the names. Is this Honey Lemon? This is Go-Go, yeah.
Doesn't look like you're hurt, Go-Go.
Okay.
Honey Lemon.
So this is Honey Lemon, but whatever.
See if you can find the residue from my ball. If you hit it with fire or electricity,
There's another magic boost chest right here. And then, yeah, there's basically gimmicks for all of these.
Back off.
This one is that you have to use magic on the right thing. The right color magic or whatever. Okay, and now I gotta do a big menu.
glad you're safe.
I'm gonna equip Hero's Glove because it gives me item boosts, and I'm gonna use Magic Galvanizer, use all of my magic boosts. Then I'm gonna customize Frog and Ethers, and you do a whole bunch in this menu. Okay, so Hero's Glove, not that. Hero's Glove. Equip that. And then I'm also going to customize this, and then this to that. Okay, so there's a very specific strat I'm going to try to get here. Okay. So basically, you do a full Firaga combo, Ether, another full Firaga combo, and then you use Firaza. And then as you're using the Firaza, you do a full shot lock and it kills him. And the reason I did it in the air is because sometimes when you throw the Ether on the ground, Sora gets stuck or something, and it leads to a little bit of an inconsistent fight. And then now we have Dark Baymax, which is the last fight of this world. And this fight is unfortunately an auto-scroller. So there's one HP gate that we want to get through during the auto-scroller. And then after that, it switches to just a fight, like a regular fight, instead of an auto-scroller. So basically you want to get to the HP gate as fast as possible. And you can do a little bit of extra damage by knocking these things back. And the HP gate is a little over 5 bars damage dealt to him. There's a little, yeah, a little fight there. There it is. And then now the fight switches.
What?
And then basically, I just let him hit me because you just want to keep dealing damage. And then I'll heal right there just to be a little safe. Okay. There you go. Okay, now we're done with this world and we get to go back to Pirates and finish it up. Okay, once we're back in Pirates, we're just gonna hop back on the ship and go straight out to the second boat fight. This is actually one of my least favorite fights in the game, just because it's, I don't know, it seems really inconsistent to me. Okay. Hop back on the ship. So there's 3 fights left in this world. And then we get to move on to the sort of end game.
That must be Shipwreck Cove, the place that Jack told us about. Oh, didn't we sail past that rock before?
So yeah, any ships that spawn I want to try to kill to get some EXP. Because I want as much EXP as possible to reach level 30 at a certain point in the Keyblade Graveyard. Other than that, there's like no spots in the run where we want to have certain amounts of EXP, because it really doesn't matter. It's just that one spot.
Hear my call! We've got him now!
Okay. Just wanted that EXP. And then anything else that spawns, I'm not going to kill because I want my command gauge filled up most of the way so I can get an attack immediately at the start of the boat fight.
Fire! Take this! Fire!
I got my raging cannons because that's what you want to get early on. What are you doing over here?
It ends here.
Alright, so I had to use the wind chasers there just because I have no other way of killing both these guys. Alright, so I'm just gonna kill this guy. And then I had to go all over here and kill this guy. Why are you so far away, dude? Holy moly. Okay, and now it spawns in the last wave, which is the big guy you gotta kill.
Let's do this. Keep going, Sora. Cannons.
Alright. Okay, so as long as I can get to the other side of the ship, I should be able to kill him.
Hear my call.
Okay, that's not too bad. It's a pretty quick 2-cycle. It's possible to 1-cycle him, but it's just kind of hard. And then now we have the Kraken fight, and then Davy Jones. So for Kraken, you want to build up raging cannons by killing the Flying Dutchman when he pops up. 'Cause that's like your only form of like good damage. Just because just hitting the Kraken takes forever and just really slow.
Cannons. Fire.
Okay, so you want to take out the ships by hitting the orbs because it fills up your command gauge. If you take them out with just killing them, then it doesn't actually fill up.
Fire. Take this. Let's do this. Keep going, Sora. Fire. Take this.
So yeah, sometimes it's hard to hit the guys because they just spawn like way too far away. So I should be able to hit that. Yeah, there you go. And then you also got to be mindful of the tentacles blocking your shots. I can't really hit that guy, so I just gotta wait for the next ship to pop up. Nothing you can really do about that. He just spawned way too far away.
Take this. Get him. Get him. Take this. It ends here.
Okay, and now he's dead. So last fight of this world is Davy Jones. And it's possible to DM skip him, but it's kind of hard. You gotta like set it up right. But this is the reason that we left the world and came back, is for this fight. Yeah, so I missed the DM skip by just barely anything. Alright, whatever. So yeah, if you don't get a full shot lock off, the 2 full shot locks off, it's like pretty hard to DM skip them. Okay, and now we get to move on to the type end game type thing of this game.
Come on, Phil.
So we leave the world, and then we're just gonna get a little boss rush real quick. It's gonna be Demon Tide, a second Demon Tide where you play as Riku. Then you're gonna fight Aqua as Sora, and then you're gonna play as Aqua to fight Vanitas. And then you're gonna head off to the Keyblade Graveyard. That's basically how the rest of the game is.
Sorry. Take this. You're done. Fire. Bye. Gotcha. Bye. Yes. Sorry.
Man, that's what I wanted to avoid.
Thunder. Gotcha. Bye. Strike.
Okay. So yeah, it's pretty much RNG whether or not Aqua comes out right there. And then this fight, she opens with the consistent start. And then you kill her just like that. Two Fire-Raga combos and the Fire-Raga kills her. After this load screen, we get to fight Vanitas. Well, not right after this load screen, but the next fight is against Vanitas, and we get to play as Aqua. Here we are at the land of departure. Okay, it's actually really hard to not do a ledge grab there, so that's pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with a shot lock because the Prism Rain does a lot of damage to him. And then I'm gonna try to use some Fire-Ragas and get into Spellweaver. Nice fight. That was a really nice fight. I was able to hit him out of his little underground attack. That's the attack you want to avoid. Okay, now we get to go off to the Keyblade Graveyard. But we have to do one gummy mission left. One more gummy mission until we can actually just play through the rest of the game. Basically like the last half hour-ish of the game. Like 35-ish minutes. Probably a little less than 35 minutes, but around that. Alright. Okay. This gummy mission is actually really hard because it's in a really enclosed space, and since you're going so so fast, it's really hard to just not collide with all the walls. And then it's actually better to not boost, because if I boosted, I'd be hitting a wall, and it would just be really bad. And I still ended up hitting that. Nice. Alright, now this is the boss. Yeah. 52 is pretty good. Now we get to go to the Keyblade Graveyard. So this first fight's literally just like 1k Heartless, but we don't really know how many Heartless are actually in it, but so we just call it 10k. So I'm gonna start off using some Thunders, some Thundagas, and then I'm gonna go into Meow Wow. Alright. So now we go into Meow Wow. Start bouncing. now we just run around spamming thunders. We want to take out that guy. And then after that, we just spam thunders again. And then once I run out of ethers, I can just start using that. But I got the coaster pretty fast. So basically, you just want to make it through until you get the magic coaster. And normally, we'd want to get level 30 here, but actually it's faster to get it later and just end this as fast as possible. But I'm already pretty close to 30, so it doesn't really matter too much, because the grinding to get 30 won't take that long. Alright. So yeah, I can just get level 30 like in a couple minutes right before the first Lich fight, and it's fine. Okay, now we're going to do a pretty decent menu to set up for the rest of the game. So I'm going to equip Nano Gear. Equip more ethers, because I want 6 ethers. And then I'm going to do Withstand Combo, Super Slide, Aerial Dot. I also need MP Safety. And then that should be it.
Everybody else has gone on ahead.
Yeah, that's it for now. Because I don't have Combo Plus yet. Okay. And this split is Sora Collection, even though I'm not splitting, but this is Sora Collection. So you have to piece yourself back together because you died. That's like the basic lore, the simplest way to explain the lore. And I'm really bad at this, so hopefully I can actually do it pretty well. But it's basically all movement based, so it's kind of hard for me. And now we have to start actually collecting Soras.
These must be pieces of me.
Okay, that was pretty quick actually. And then the second part is a little more difficult. It also takes a lot longer, just because you have to collect 111 Soras. But luckily we do have a pretty good route.
I gotta put myself back together. There's no time to waste.
Over here. Okay. Okay.
Whoa! What's going on?
I'm gonna hit this line so I can get all of them. Okay. I'm gonna hit some of these just to make up for some of the ones that I missed so far. Okay. And then go up here. Because there's a whole bunch right here.
Almost there.
guess we're doing this part first. Okay. Okay. That was pretty good. And then after we've put ourselves back together, we gotta fight the same Heartless 7 times. But not quite yet. There's a menu, I gotta do a menu, and then I can go fight the Lich. Yeah, so basically, this menu, I'm gonna do a shop menu. I'm gonna sell a bunch of accessories that I've accumulated over the course of the run. And then I'm gonna buy as many ethers as I possibly can. And this is also like revisits. Okay, so sell the elixir, and then all accessories. And then, okay, I have more than enough ethers. Okay, there's a little movement tech right here. Okay, and this is where I grind to level 30.
Hurry, Sora! We can't let him get away!
Okay. Then for this Lich, I just jump and do a full Thunder combo. And that's it. This one I'm gonna switch to the Nano Gear shot lock and do a full shot lock on him, just to kill him because it one shots him.
Hold still.
Let's try another portal. Aim for the ones wrapped in shadows.
Yeah, for most of the Liches you can just do a full Thunder combo.
Enough.
Let's try another portal. Aim for the ones wrapped in shadows.
Back off. Back off. Thunder.
But for
Stop that.
this one, 'cause this one's a little weird, I'm gonna do 2 Nano Gear shot locks.
Let's
Just
try
'cause it's
another
a little
portal.
easier and
Aim for the
simpler for
ones
me.
wrapped in shadows.
Oh no, that's not good. Okay, that still killed him. Whatever.
Hey.
And then right here, this is the hard one. I'm gonna do the strat that I know how to do. There's a faster strat, but I'm gonna do 2 full shot locks with the Ever After Keyblade. Just because that's what I find easier. Okay. That's just the strat that I know how to do.
Hey, stop!
And then this is the last lich. And then I'm gonna jump, do 3 thunders, and then a full shot lock with nano gear. And that should kill him.
Back off! Back off! Gotcha!
Okay. Now he's dead. And we are back among the living. Okay.
Let's go after him.
We've got to go too.
Okay, so I want Ever After right here. So this fight's the Demon Tide. I'm going to be using the Aerial Link. Just because it does massive damage. And yeah, it just fucking tears through his health bar. Okay. And you can just kill him as soon as he's coming out of the ground. Okay, and then this is little auto scroller that you have to mash triangle during, and you have to mash triangle at a certain speed to make it optimal. You don't want to mash it too fast. There's like a little rhythm to it.
Now's our chance!
And there's 2 parts of it. This part, you actually get to move around and stuff, so you gotta dodge little balls flying at you. Because you actually can die here. finish them off. Okay, so I'm gonna eat food, customize Eroga, and then equip combo plus. So yeah, there you get the Starlight Keyblade. Doesn't really do much for you in the speedrun. It's kind of a cool Keyblade, but not for the speedrun. Doesn't do anything. Release Sora, do that. Customize this to that. And then we're gonna eat. Okay.
Oh, I guess I need to get through the door before it closes.
Okay, and now we get to spam fire for the rest of the run. Okay, he's dead. And then here, Zigbar's gonna DM, and it's gonna give me the chance to just wail on him.
Make it interesting. Hey, watch it.
Okay, whatever.
This is your power.
So yeah, you just kind of spam fire. I tried to do a Shallock at the end of that to finish him off, but I didn't have enough damage. And here, I threw an Ether just so I'd have full MP going into this. Your Ether count doesn't... I have way more than enough Ether, so your Ether count doesn't really matter. Okay. So now I gotta use an Ether at the start of this. And then where is he?
What's the matter?
And you can just one-shot him because of Magic Galvanizer. You also have to have full MP though.
What's the matter?
Okay, now he's dead.
I will free.
And you just kill her.
No way.
I could have used that Faraza, but I didn't even realize I had it. First two sets of org members are down.
The sun's going down.
Now we get to do a little puzzle. It's a really simple puzzle.
So these panels in the floor are switches for the doors.
And I'm jumping and air sliding because that's like the fastest form of movement right now. Just because of the way that worked, me having to hit the ground and shit. Stuff. Okay. So I want to do as much damage to Terranor as possible, and then switch over to Vanitas.
Let's go. Nice. Fire. Yeah. So long. Back off.
Okay.
The rest of me.
Because you can hit Vanitas during his DM. Terranor is invincible after the first part of his DM, so you want to be able to kill him before he goes into his DM. Okay, there's one more Org member fight. And it's Syx. This is a super short fight, but all the Orc fights are pretty short just because of you doing so much damage.
I call on the moon's pale light. Stop it! Just stop!
Okay, I didn't get as much damage off as I wanted to there because I was trying not to die. Okay, whatever. He's dead.
It's night already?
Okay. Okay, so this is young Xehanort, Zemnis, and Ansem. I'm gonna try to kill them in a certain order, or get them all down to a certain health before I kill them. So I want to get Ansem and young Xehanort down to like a bar of health, and then I want to kill Zemnis. Okay. I was able to kill him.
How the wilders weep for you.
Oh, I didn't kill him? I didn't... Oh, God, I didn't kill either of them. Oh, that was really bad.
Surrender. All begins and ends in darkness. Submerge for the darkness. How the wilders weep for you. You're powerless. So this is
Okay,
where my
whatever.
role
That's
ends.
fine. I wanted to skip going through a DM, but both of the DMs, but I was able to skip at least one of them, so that's fine. Dude, I wish. Okay, that was just really bad movement. Okay, and these guys. Just die just like that because they have a shared hitbox or a shared health bar. So if you're hitting multiple of them at once, you're just doing lots of damage. And because arrows and AOE, Aeroga's AOE, it just does a whole bunch of damage. Okay. So this is Goatnort. I'm gonna try to skip some of his phases. Man, I didn't get to skip his DM here. Okay, I didn't get to skip his DM there, so this is kind of slow now. But hopefully I can skip the DM from this phase. In this phase, we're going to be underwater, so the combat gets a little weird. Okay, that was really fast, actually. This phase, he's gonna sit through this. And now he's dead. Okay. Now this is the last fight of the game. So for the first phase, you just want to deal as much damage as possible as fast as you can. Okay. 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 So yeah, in that phase of the fight, we went to skip a rage form, which I was able to do by doing just a full Fire Raga combo at the start, and then I need to get one more Fire Raga off, and then once he stops attacking me, you Fire Raza and then do a full shot lock. And that lets you skip the DM and save like 2 minutes, which is really good, really nice. Okay, so in this, yeah, a little fakes you out by dying, and then you gotta mash. then once this cutscene's over, this little cutscene plays, and then when the beam of light hits Xehanort, that's when timing ends. That's when RTA timing ends, and then yeah, skip the cutscenes, get your IGT, and then that's when the run's officially over. Okay. Not bad. So this is a PB by a couple minutes. And we gotta skip the cutscenes to get my IGT. Alright. That was Kingdom Hearts 3. Beginner any percent. And in just a sec, I'll get my IGT. 3 or 323. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. That's actually a pretty decent improvement. Alright, and I guess that concludes this commentary run. Cool to get a PB.